Hello again. This is the sixth roll of film that I shot in 2017 on my trip around Italy, and the third and final roll of film that I shot in Genoa. Great first image to start, isn't it? Directly into the sunshine and with a horrible sun flare right in the middle of it. Not very nice, is it? I'm guessing this is some sort of victory arch of some description. I'm not quite entirely sure. Probably a war memorial. In fact, I think it might have been a war memorial of some description. Inexplicably, I've decided that this giant building casting a giant shadow needs a horrible direct shot into the sun with the sun above it looking ridiculous. It looks terrible, doesn't it? It doesn't look very good. I could have done this an awful lot better. Yeah, just a shot of some people around this war memorial. I'm guessing this is just for context of kind of the scale of the damn thing. On the last photo, yeah, it looks big up close. I mean, just look how small these people are compared to this arch itself. Mm, yeah, there's a horrible bit of shadow in the bottom right that's not doing an awful lot for it. I mean, I don't really know what I was trying to do yet, other than taking a photograph for scale to show exactly how big this thing is. There's not really an awful lot else going on. Colours are nice, I guess, but I mean, it's hectare in bright sunlight, so the colours are always going to be nice. Again, I'm guessing this is just a shot for scale, or just me attempting to do some sort of street photography in my early days of shooting film, and failing miserably because there's not particularly anything interesting going on here. Two guys standing around, one looking the wrong way. The background isn't even straight. You can clearly see that it's at a weird skew angle. I mean, there's straight lines behind it going vertically upwards, and I've still managed to get those diagonal and off to the left. And yeah, it's a very, very messy, not particularly interesting photograph. I would never ever show unless I was going through every photograph that I have shot, like I am doing here. So yeah, not happy about this one particularly. This is a bit better than the first image. Not directly into the sunlight. I'm guessing this is probably the opposite direction. Perhaps I've probably walked through it, turned around, and then taken a photograph from the other side. It's a little bit off center, which is a tiny bit annoying. As you can clearly see, there's more open space on the left hand side than there is on the right hand side. Although, because of that, the left hand side has more of a building. In the image itself. So I'm guessing I'm going to pretend that I meant to do that rather than completely messing it up, which is more likely to be the case. Everything's nicely in focus. I mean, you can clearly read the writing on the top of this arch. Again, it's a nice example of scale. If you look at the very bottom right of the archway itself, you can see someone sat down. I mean, that's a nice example of just how big this damn thing is. I mean, obviously the angle I've taken it at makes it look massive in comparison to the buildings in the background. Obviously they were taller than this. It's just scale, but the fact of having people stood around it means that you can get a sense of just how massive this thing was. Yeah, this I think is better than the first one. I think this is better than the first one. God, I really love taking pictures of that arch, didn't I? Here we are, from up on top of a hill. So again, yeah, you can see the scale of it without the need for people, but I mean, you can see the cars parked around in the area, how small they are in comparison to it. And in fact, if you look to the right and left and the buildings that surround it, you can see it is as tall as these buildings. I think this is a relatively interesting image of a part of Genoa. I mean, you get a sense of the city itself. You got that tower rising up over the rest of them in the background. You've got this enclosed area of the buildings around this square. You've got some of the mountains in the background showing you some of the topography of where the city is built, and then you've got this nice big open blue sky taking up the top of the photograph as well. Plus, it's in bright sunlight and it's on hectare, so everything pops. Everything's nice. I really like the greens on this. There's a few dots of red that are kind of popping out as well, but the greens I think work really quite well in this. Yeah, another shot of the back of people's heads while they're looking out of something, and even better, they're in shadow, so it's not even that interesting. Again, we've got that tower in the background that we saw in a few images already. there is light here. You can clearly see that sort of about 2/3 of the way up that lamppost on the right hand side. There's the light hitting there, and on the bottom left you can see sort of where the light is obviously coming through. I'm guessing from trees in the background that's blocking it, so it's just between the leaves and the branches. You've got this little bit of light coming through. There is some of it hitting the side of that man's face, so I guess at least his face is a little bit light. But yeah, there's not really much going on here. Is I'm a bit too far away for this to be anything interesting, and they're not even looking in the direction of the camera. They're sort of looking out over the panorama of the city itself. It's okay. It's not particularly interesting. It's just okay. Again, I'm trying to point out leading lines and things on this, with the repetition of the trees and the fencing going along, and then we've got this big cast of light going diagonally across the photograph, and then with that pigeon sort of just stood pretty much central. And then we've got a person in the actually no, we've got two people. I didn't even notice that. We've got two people sort of walking towards the middle of the frame, one in the far background and one sort of in the middle ground. This is all right. I think if I'd been there at a different point of day, I think it would look better because there'd be more sunlight. I think there's a bit too much. Well, actually, no, there's a lot too much shadow in this for it to be particularly good. I like the lamppost. You've got that colour of that lamppost on the middle right of the image there. You've got a bench to the right as well, and yeah, the light where it is coming through is quite nice, but yeah, I think this is just a bit too much in shadow, really, to be particularly noteworthy. I was really happy with this image at the time, and now looking back at it, I just think it's a bit. I don't know. I don't think the colours look real. Is my problem with it nowadays? Everything's very, very saturated, which isn't me. That is literally how the photograph came out. I do still like it. It is a little bit cliched, isn't it? You got these people staring out to sea, the big open blue of the sea and the sky, and the horizon where it's meeting sort of overexposed. And then you've got the Italian flag to the right hand side, which annoyingly is not blowing quite as kind of straight and billowy as I was hoping it would, but you can still easily make out the green, red, and the white on there. Everything. I quite like the image, and I did use this as the front page image of the zine that I created after I got home and sort of collated all the images together, and the ones that I really liked. But yeah, I thought it was really, really good at the time. Now I just think it's okay. I think it's okay. The colours are a bit too unrealistic for me. I think this is part of the old city walls of the medieval city of Genoa itself. It looks like you've got sort of a gateway there, and the sort of tower rising up amongst the narrow streeted buildings by here. This was a really, really steep street. This is me kneeling down and pointing directly upwards. This is pretty much me stood there shooting directly in front of me, and it just goes up at a really, really high gradient. I like this. The annoying part is this big bit of railing to the left hand side that's a bit detracting. It does lead into the image, but it's very, very in your face. Other than that, I quite like it. The fact there's only the one person, and they are silhouetted, and they are almost perfectly silhouetted into that archway. So where the light is coming through that archway, they're pretty much framed within that. I really quite like that. If I'm going to have a serious criticism of this, it's that the flag on the top of the flagpole at the sort of top of the image there is not quite straight and out and showing you exactly what the flag is. But other than that, I'm quite happy with this. I quite like it. And here's the final one that I took in Genoa. Of my time there back in 2017. I haven't actually been back since. If you've seen some of the previous videos, you've probably seen some of the sunset imagery that I've taken. This is from the same place as before. I think the reason I went up here is because there was less clouds this day, and I thought I want a nice bright open sky to really, really see the sky light up, and I think that's definitely what's been achieved here. You got the silhouette of the crane, you got the silhouette there of the lanterna, and actually in the distance you can see the far shoreline in the in the background there. Obviously, the sun is directly in the middle of this, so don't stare directly at this, kids. Safety first and all that. I was obviously stupid and did, but you do get really bold colours. I love that red and orange glow at the horizon. I like how it's reflected as well in that's either a building roof or a little bit of the port, maybe some water that it's reflecting on. Actually, no, it is a roof. It is a roof, right in the middle of that. But yeah, and then where there are clouds, you've got sort of the singular cloud at the top that's reflecting those colours a little bit, and then the ones to the right as well, the wispy ones that are reflecting as well. I really like this. I really like this. This is, like I said, this is the last image I took in Genoa. I think it's a good one to finish this video on. So thanks very much for watching this video. As usual, if you want to like and subscribe, then there's bits floating around this screen now. Obviously, if you want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram, I post there a lot more regularly, then do so. I'm the 6 million P man on both of those. And yeah, thanks very much. Hope you come back for some more soon.